have to admit that the RAZER Kaira Pro for the PlayStation 5 looks really good with its black and white contrasting colors, but for its $200 price tag and the default sound profile that it delivers? Hi, what's up everybody? I'm Edward. In today's video, I'm going to go over the features of the RAZER Kaira Pro wireless headset for the PlayStation 5 and also share with you my 3 months usage experience across multiple platforms, including my thoughts on the haptic feedback. Feel free to jump around with the timestamps below and then hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and let's find out why I think you should only buy this headset if you have the patience to adjust and tune sound profiles. Starting with the unboxing, upon opening the console-themed Razer packaging, you're immediately greeted with the sexy black and white Kaira Pro headset. Picking up the headset, the first thing I noticed was that it was quite heavy compared to the previous 250 grams multi-platform Barracuda X wireless headset that I reviewed. Weighing at 365 grams, it certainly is heavier, but at the same time, the plastic materials used feels a lot sturdier and thicker. The whole headset is constructed with textured black and white plastic, with the inside of the headband and the hinges of where the earcups swivel reinforced with steel, which is good because those are areas where cheaper Razer headsets tend to crack and break. The bottom of the headband is cushioned with Razer's flow knit fabric and memory foam, while the earcups are padded with a pair of really nice and dense memory foam that's removable, and probably is one of the best memory foam Razer has ever offered with their headsets. They're different from the ones on the Kaira Pro for Xboxes, and in my opinion, are kinda like upgrades and should be used for all upcoming flagship Razer headsets. The sides of the cushions are covered with leatherette, while the side that will be touching your ears and face is covered with a thin woven fabric material that feels really smooth, adding a lot of the comfort factor, which I'll get into the nitty-gritty details later. The insides of the ear cups are slightly padded with a not so thick PlayStation Blue foam, but the cushions are thick enough that my large ears never really touch the inside of the headset. The headset also comes with a braided 0.57 USB-A female to USB-C extension cable, a detachable boom microphone, a 1.4 meters USB-A to USB-C charging cable, finally, a off-center USB-C 2.4 GHz adapter, and the usual manuals and stickers. There's no carrying pouch this time around, which is strange for a headset in this price range, but it's okay, as you can easily make one that can protect your headset from light scratches during travel. Moving back to the headset, the majority of the controls and ports are on the left ear cup. There's a port for the detachable microphone, a USB-C port for charging, a power button that also serves as a media control button, a LED indicator light, headset volume adjusting scroll wheel, and a mute microphone switch. On the right ear cup, you will find the audio source selection button that is also used to cycle through EQ presets, a microphone feedback volume scroll wheel, and a button to disable and cycle through 3 levels of Razer's Hypersense haptic feedback. The haptic feedback are powered by Lofelt's L5 haptic drivers, with one located inside each ear cup, and are pretty powerful haptic drivers that can deliver accurate vibrations with different intensities that are in sync with the audio coming from the 50mm titanium drivers. Outside each ear cup, the Razer logo can display 4 RGB lighting effects which can be customized via Razer's mobile app. And talking about using apps, you will need a total of 2 separate mobile apps to fully utilize Razer's Kaira Pro for the PlayStation 5. To customize the RGB lighting, you will need to use Razer's Chroma RGB app and another app called Razer Audio just to tune the equalizer and toggle other settings, which I personally find a little inconvenient. Though, Razer did mention that they're working on combining both apps into one, but there isn't an official announcement on when at this time of filming. And with both the RGB and haptic feedback on at level 2 settings, I was able to get around 10.5 hours of battery life from a full charge, 18 hours with the RGB on and haptics off, while around 52 hours with both off. As for the microphone, the voice picked up by this unidirectional cardioid microphone sounds quite close to your natural voice, a little stuffy but passable. It also does a pretty good job in filtering out background noises, but sometimes a little too good, as if you move the mic a bit far from your mouth, then it will not be able to pick up your voice clearly. However, for some reason, the volume and clarity is not as good as Razer's other headsets, especially over Bluetooth connection. Maybe it's just my unit, but when using Bluetooth connection like right now, there's a lot of static noise and occasionally dropped syllables. As for the wireless adapter, its plug-and-play compatibility works instantly with the PlayStation 5, PC, Nintendo Switch, both in handheld and docked mode, and Android phones with a USB-C port. And with a now off-center USB connector, it can be plugged into devices without blocking off a nearby port, so that is an improvement of functionality-wise compared to the Barracuda X. And talking about the Razer Barracuda X, if you watched my Razer Barracuda X review, then you will probably assume that this headset would be my idea of the perfect all-round gaming headset because of the inclusion of Bluetooth and the added bonus of haptic feedback. You would be right, except that the default sound profile that comes to the Razer Kaira Pro makes this headset sound like something you picked up from a dollar shop. I mean, I'm no audiophile, but out of the box, there was just so much mids that everything sounded like I was having a stuffy head during a flu, and it was upsetting because the Black Shark V2 Pro had the same titanium drivers but sounded so much better. And not only that, the built-in sound presets also sounded terrible except for one. The enhanced bass preset increased the stuffy head feeling, while the FPS preset enhanced the trebles while removing all traces of bass. The only preset that was worth using was the amplify preset, which provided a more balanced sound profile. Fortunately, Razer also included a custom preset for you to tune the audio to your liking, and it is stored in the headset. However, I find that no matter how much I adjust the equalizer, the amplified EQ preset still had a larger soundstage, so I tend to use that preset more when listening to music and watching movies. Though, if you plan to use this headset mainly to listen to music, I would recommend against it as there are better sounding wireless headsets out there that cost less. Other than this only major flaw of the Kaira Pro, everything else was near perfect. For the past 3 months, I've spent using the Razer Kaira Pro for the PlayStation 5 on literally every gaming platform I own. The number one point that stands out for me the most was the comfort offered by this wireless headset. Being one of the heaviest wireless headsets I currently own, the Razer Kaira Pro for the PlayStation 5 was also the most comfortable one to wear for extended gaming sessions. It also supports PlayStation 5's 3D audio flawlessly and also works with any spatial audio software that you might have on your PC thanks to its responsive titanium-coated drivers. I personally recommend that if you plan to use the Razer Kaira Pro for PC gaming, then investing in a spatial audio software such as Dolby Atmos or Razer THX Spatial Audio will greatly enhance your experience as the headset soundstage and directional audio will be greatly improved. Now, for the Razer Hypersense haptic feedback feature that was first introduced with the Nari Ultimate headset, it seems to have been, in my opinion, more tamed and improved a bit on the Razer Kaira Pro. The haptic feedback will now activate more intelligently when listening to music and not go off all the time like it did on the Razer Nari Ultimate. In my opinion, the haptic feedback is a great feature, but not one that will be suitable for all situations or everyone. For single-player games and listening to music, the Kaira Pro does indeed add to the immersion. While playing Spider-Man Miles Morales and Ratchet & Clank, the headset will vibrate in sync with the DualSense controller, which is quite cool. But when it comes to watching YouTube and movies or playing multiplayer FPS games, I like to turn it off as it becomes an annoyance as it will constantly vibrate non-stop while draining the battery. But in the end, as this feature is purely subjective, so this is just my 2 cents. And if this is the first time that you will be using a headset with haptic feedback, then you are definitely in for a treat. So overall, and to be really honest, I think Razer might have missed the spot with their Kaira Pro headset for the PlayStation 5. I mean, everything about this wireless gaming headset is great, except for the sound that they deliver. The design, build quality, and comfort level is superb, the wireless connectivity options is great, the Hypersense haptic feedback is fun, but they should have tuned the default sound presets better to match the $200 asking price without needing us to adjust the audio quality with their slightly limited mobile app. And if it wasn't for this option to fine-tune the audio, then I definitely would not recommend this headset at all. So yeah, get it only when it's on discount or if you have the patience to tune the audio to your liking. Otherwise, you might want to consider the Razer Kraken V3 Pros, which also works with game controls, are also wireless with haptic feedback, but sounds a lot better. Alright, thank you as always for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer all of them. And if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it will help me and this channel a lot more than you know it, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao!